The jungle in version 42 is very different. In this video, we are taking a look at the rotations and what kind of cards and gems you need to clear that with certain heroes. I do have a jungle deck, a jungle card and gems video. Go check that out if you want more in depth for the gems and cards. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Paragon guide. I am Sylphin. So we are taking a look at the jungle route in this first video. So in this first part of this video, we're taking a look at why we start in the right side here. As you can see, the minions don't do much damage whatsoever, and we have a scythe equipped. We have the scythe jungle here that gives us 4.3 bonus damage to our minion camps here. Now, as you can see, Grux has no sustainability. He is not like Kwong or Chimera or Rampage, but I'm trying to show you that you may arguably not need a Sylphin on any junglers. Sevarog, in my experience, does require a Sylphin if you want to be completely topped up. And I suppose all of the junglers with no sustain do need it if you want to be entirely topped up. But there is absolutely a case to that I'm trying to show you here that you may not even need the Sylphin at all. And you can use that gem slot for other better things. Now, as you can see, you don't go to the jungle camp as your second camp because it's not up at that time. You need a little bit more time in between your first and second camps in order for the green camp to spawn. Because it just won't be there. If you do the green camp first, or second, it's just not there. It's not, and then you'll be wasting time. So you go right, bottom, green, top. You take that one last minion on the right there, and then you can have a couple seconds here to maybe harass the enemy mid laner, just like I'm doing here. We're gonna use this green buff here. Hopefully I get my smash and grab here. These are bots, guys, just so you know. So obviously it's not gonna go that well when you do it, but at least you can be there to harass them, make sure that maybe they're intimidated enough not to get your river buff. Then you get the river buff at 3 minutes, and then you can do whatever the map requires you to do. Now, another method you can go is top, right, bottom, green, top, right, and you still have time, as you can see here, and you still have the green buff. This obviously keeps the green buff open for you to gank and use like that, and you still have time. But I tried something a little bit different. I also added in a card like Demolitionist, which deals 12 bonus damage to non-hero units and structures, just like the minions here. So dealing a little bit more damage, and as you can see, I'm still half health, even after the gank with the green buff, saving the green buff for a little later. You still don't need that Sylphin. And to be honest with you, this absolutely works on Sevarog. So the options are there. If you want to, you know, save that green camp, but you have to have more wave clear in order to do that, you can start at the top, go to the right, then the bottom, get the green, get the top 2 camps again. So you're traveling a little bit more, but you need that damage in order to do that. If you have that damage, then you can save that green buff for a mid lane game. Now, once you have that your strong jungle cleared, you do have a bit of time, as you can see here by the 4:30 mark, to go into lane. So once you kind of hit that 4:30 mark, then you need to come and clear out these camps here that you can obviously see are nice and full. So once you get that 3-minute river buff, you have some time till about 4:30 to be in lane and gank. There's no point in clearing your strong jungle again. There's not enough camps there to kind of warrant your time spent. You don't want to do this weak jungle because they aren't fully stacked yet. So you have about a minute, depending on, you know, what transpires in the mid lane and everything, to be in lane, harass the enemy duo, or harass the enemy mid laner. You have that nice bunch of time there to do work. Now, that is, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to show you that a Sylphin, it's not necessarily all that needed here in version 42. If you want to play a little bit more of an economy game with your jungler and get, you know, get some economy cards instead, maybe you then want a Sylphin to be a bit more of a slower jungler with less presence on the map, so you can have more sustain and stuff like that. So there's really no need for a Sylphin in a lot of scenarios. Instead, you can get Demolitionist with the Scythe to have faster wave clear and be elsewhere on the map more often and maybe secure ganks. I think, honestly, that has a much higher influence on the game as a whole. Now, as we watch this Chimera here with a Scythe and Demolitionist on, clear the jungle just fine. He is a jungler with some sustain. We'll kind of recap what we can surmise from version 42 jungle. The jungle minions don't hurt very much. They don't deal much damage. So even on somebody like Grux, you can put a Scythe and a damage card and still be pretty much a-okay in the early in this early jungle clear. You can get the green camp, get to level 3 with enough, well then enough time to harass the mid laner before getting the river buff, and really you can still have 50% health, and that's without any sort of kiting. So you can absolutely do it for sure if you know, if you are skilled in the jungle. Like, I'm not necessarily so there is that. Now we're going to try to see here if Chimera can pull this off himself and get to the river buff in time with level 3. So we're going to see that. And the jungle routes are kind of up to you. The safe one is right camp, bottom camp, green camp, top camp, right camp, and then go onto the river camp. But this is also an option which you're seeing here, which saves the green buff as long as you have damage equipped. As long as you have the Scythe and something like Demolitionist here, as long as you have that damage, then this can work where you save your green buff instead of using it to clear the camp. So somebody like Sevarog maybe can use, and Chimera can do it here, and he's completely full. So that's the benefit of having a jungler with natural sustain built in. So there you guys go. That is it. Basically showing you that you know, a Scythe is almost not worth it if you're playing a really safe Sevarog. You know, you can do that. Crunch and Grux are the others that that could definitely use a Sylphin to stay completely topped up, but there is more consideration if you're using somebody like Serath in the jungle, as she definitely could use that Sylphin. So there you guys go. There's the jungle rotations. There's much more leeway if you ask me. The Sylphin, honestly, not really necessary, especially since it's going to be very, very quickly useless. You know, once you start getting damage, you'll clear the camps anyways. You get more agility with the basic armor. They won't be dealing much damage. So the Sylphin, I think, unfortunately, you just gotta have to bear through the early game pressure here from the minions on a non-sustained jungler. You just gotta suffer through it. Have a little bit of a slower start, which I just proved to you that it's not really slow anyways. There you go. So let me know down in the comments, guys, what you guys think of the new jungle. You know, as it's very different. It feels very, very different. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. You guys like this content, especially if you found it useful. Please subscribe so I can do it for you in the future. If you would like to support me on a regular basis, please head on over to my Patreon account where you can make a pledge to help me do what I love. Till next time, like always, guys, stay optimistic and positive.